I think that we are more creative during darker times. Musicians, authors, anybody of creativity will tell you, yeah, I was going through some junk that I now take across this entire nation. Sure, we have dark times, but you've got to understand why creativity can grow beyond dark times. Because I'm convinced that we find our greater times through darkness, and we keep trying to go back so we can have greater times again. Stop it. Unplugged, because we will always say yes to creativity. Totally uncut, because we all make mistakes. So turn it into a tool. This is Arroe Unplugged. I don't know if you can hear it, but behind me inside the studio here, overlooking this beautiful forest in South Charlotte, North Carolina, is my little girl. My little girl is a pointer. My little girl is a dog, and she's snoring away. So if you hear some strange sounds in the background, please do not think that it's my body making those strange sounds. It's my little girl. She's really one of those beautiful pieces of art that when we come into the studio to do conversations or do interviews and things like that, she feels amazingly secure to the point where she just goes to sleep and snores away. And it's just adorable. I'm not going to wake her up. But if you hear strange sounds, okay, it ain't me, okay? Because sometimes I always think listeners are going, what's he got, bad gas? What's wrong with that guy? What is that sound I just heard? Rewind that. I want to hear that again. Hey, it's Arroe. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am a daily writer. I love to write about anything that has to do with real life and situations. There's always something to learn from everything that's moving around us. This is The Daily Mess. Today we're reading from September 30th, 2022. We are just a few hours shy of hurricane and soon-to-be tropical storm Ian from hitting our area pretty hard. It is raining. It's raining. You know, it's coming down pretty good. The winds aren't as bad as what they say that they're going to be, but we are absolutely a part of the bands of Hurricane Ian at this point in time. I can only hope and pray that we don't lose electricity, because that would wreck our conversation here today. I didn't do any type of writing during Hurricane Hugo, and the reason why was because I didn't become a daily writer until 1994, and Hurricane Hugo was September 22nd, 1989. It was coming. I just wasn't doing it yet. I was a poet, putting things in poetry, but not exactly the way that I write today. The thing is that I hold on to those memories, and I don't know why. I mean, I do remember the kitchen and how the water was coming through the door during Hurricane Hugo. We lost power just after midnight. I remember sitting in the house in candlelight. My dog Lobo, not knowing the real conditions, the wind, the rain. It all roars inside my head and heart, even today, after all of these years. The damage outside wouldn't be known until sunrise. I still don't understand why I wasn't on the air that night. It was a Friday night, September 22nd, 1989. It was a Friday. I should have been on the air, but they didn't put my name on the schedule. And to this day, that really does haunt me. I don't understand why I wasn't on the air. I have thought about that so many times. I've written about it a million times because I love being on the air, but I don't know why I wasn't on the air that particular night. I almost feel like that I was being punished, but for what? Why? And the people that made those decisions, if I were to go back to them and say, and you've been in this situation, something happens at work, and you spend the rest of your life wondering, what went wrong? I'm holding this inside my heart. Why? But yet it still bothers you. I've always been baffled by this. But the thing is that I was there the day that Hugo hit and the days that followed. We had no electricity for a week. We sat in the dark waiting patiently. Not impatiently, but patiently. We knew what had hit us, and we knew what we needed to do to get through this. And then I remember the radio experience when I went back to the station after Hurricane Hugo. We were in darkness there too. We had to be there as broadcasters. And even though our tower had been badly damaged by the hurricane, we still had to be in that place of business. Everything else was moving except for life at home and life in the business. But we together as a community, and we rebuilt it, just like they're going to do in Florida as Hurricane Ian has done his damage. Everything still lives inside the head and heart. And I'm that guy who always says, you can't live in the past because you're always going to rewrite the story. You've got to live in the present. But you have situations such as Hurricane Ian, which will be downgraded to a tropical storm, moving through your place again, and you have these evil flashbacks. And I'll tell you one of the funniest things about Hugo that I do remember, and it's not rewriting a story. About a week before Hugo, before I even knew this thing was even coming, we didn't know. It wasn't supposed to be what it was. We had purchased from Radio Shack. You remember Radio Shack? These itty-bitty TVs, like transistor radios. We thought it was cool. And we thought it'd be really neat to have these little TVs in our car with us, wherever we go. It was just the thing. This was before smartphones. But that's how we kept entertained when the lights were out because of Hurricane Hugo. So what does this have to do with anybody else in the world? Well, you're right. But the thing is, we all, in our own places, go through different types of storms, challenges, and changes. But we don't openly speak about what it does to us personally, on the inside. The things that keep us over there when we could be mingling here. And why does it take a bad moment to bring a community together? We've always got it in our hearts. And I think that's one thing that we need to start working on even more. As crazy as the times are, and you know we're going through some moments. We have been since, 2001? Let's be real and honest here. Slowly but surely, we have become divided, not just in this country, but all over the world. The storms are always in front of us. But what are the little things? The little things that you can find a positive vibration from and allow it to become the seed to find something else that can become positive. Hurricane Hugo, it was a little miniature television set. It took batteries. I had never seen anything like that, and I wanted it. But it's the positive from so much destruction. I'm Arroe, and that's the Daily Mess.